Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. How are you? It's Kimberly Trimmel. I am glad to be with you here today in this very moment. So I can't believe we're here at the end of what is this? This is the almost the end of April. So May's right around the corner. I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. How's your year going? Are you accomplishing the goals that you set forth earlier in the year? Are you on track? Are you off track? Not to worry, no matter where you are, it's completely fixable. The one thing, just the one thing, if I was able to say what the one thing is that helps individuals, organizations, and teams is communication. So what I want to do is I wanted to personally jump in. I know a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that I'd be doing a training on understanding different people's personality styles based on John Maxwell's leadership disc program. And I have got it scheduled for May. So those of you who reached out, thank you. So again, my name's Kimberly Trimmel. Welcome. For those of you that I don't know, it is a good opportunity to check in and learn about communication. For those of you that I do know that already are into communication and want to improve your skill set, it's an opportunity for you to expand on that. So, my name is Kimberly Trimmel. I am the founder of Trimmel Consulting and Coaching LLC. We actually launched in 2011. Back then, I was mostly doing a lot of compliance, but through time and during the pandemic, I pivoted. So, why did I pivot? I pivoted because I wanted to add more value to people at a different level, right? So, we had gone through that really, really, really challenging piece of the pandemic. So, during March of 2020, actually, it was May of 2020, I began pivoting. And I pivoted and I shifted. And if those of you saw my YouTube, you're familiar with what I did. I added training and consulting in the leadership space. I became a certified speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. And now it's referred to as Maxwell Leadership Certified Team. So let me tell you a little bit. I get the opportunity to coach with the likes of John Maxwell as well as Chris Robinson and a mentor, a host of other amazing mentors. And one of the programs I am most excited about right now is the one I mentioned in a post a few weeks ago. So it is referring to, do you have the right people on your in your boat? It's like, who's in your boat? I know Dr. Ivan Meisner wrote a book, Who's in Your Room? It's kind of similar in that, do you have the right people surrounding you? And what if you have the right people surrounding you, but you're missing it on communication? How does that look? I'm not sure. That's what we're going to talk about. So, what I wanted to do is number one, I want to thank you for joining me on this short live. I'm going to talk about what we'll be discussing, and I'm going to make a private invitation that you can actually feel free to share with others. So, thank you so much for this opportunity. I guess I'd like to pose this question to you. Are you looking to improve your leadership skills, your communication skills in this particular space? What I'd like to do is have the opportunity to share with you to learn how to effectively lead your team and to honor and recognize their differences in how they communicate. This is going to give you great results for your organization. When you discover how to understand people, what way they're wired, not only is it better for you, it's better for them. They get the ability to bring their whole selves to the organization, which we know when they do better, the organization does better. This is going to allow you to create a positive team culture, the opportunity to actually tune in and hone in on people's differences, and even more importantly, their similarities. How would it feel if you knew that when you talk to somebody, you knew they wanted to be talked to in very, very detail oriented conversation, like numbers. There are numbers people. Then there are those chatty people. You have to remember to ask them, how's the family? How's the dog? And then there's people that support us. And then, of course, there's your driven people, your D's that we refer to them as. So why is this important? Because John Maxwell actually put together a opportunity for you to learn about not only the personality styles, but also take the personality styles and see how they apply towards one's leadership potential. So that's what we're going to be discussing. So if you want to learn how to lead your team in such a way that you listen to them better, and equally important, they listen to you better, join me. We are going to have probably about an hour together. It will be, I just scheduled it. So let me take a look really quick. We are going to do this on May 13th at 11 a.m. Right now, I'm going to have it scheduled for Zoom, and we'll have follow-up that I can actually do on, I can actually do that on freeconferencecall.com. Why is that important? Because if you want to learn how to lead your team in an effective fashion, you have to learn to understand them. You know, if you're talking numbers, and somebody else is talking feelings, warm and fuzzies, you're going to miss it, right? And how important is it to be mindful of communication when things are changing around us at exponential speed? I mean, I have never seen such changes happen. One change after another change after another change. As I mentioned, I pivoted in May of 2020. When everything else was chaotic around me, I'm like, what can I do to make a difference? Yes, I actually love real estate. That is true. But I also love leadership development, team development, and I love helping people become their next best self. Becoming one's next best self has to do with understanding those around you. So if you're looking on how to improve your relationships, both family as well as professional, then I would like to personally invite you to join me May 13th at 11 o'clock in the morning. It will be on Zoom, and you'll have an opportunity. It'll be interactive. It'll be a lunch and learn, a lunch workshop where we'll actually have the opportunity to have a vetted out conversation about how to become a more effective communicator. And one of the things John says is that communication is key. Leadership is key, nothing more and nothing less. If you can't communicate with your team, how are you going to be able to get them to their own next level? So if you're interested in unlocking the power of your team building, your teamwork, how about even going within and developing your own ability to take yourself to the next level? What would that look like? You always want to incrementally grow. Like where we were last week, that was last week. Where we were last year, that was last year. I submit to you that we want to grow throughout time, exceeding our own previous personal best. Because when you're your best self, as I said, everybody benefits. So what are some of the things that you'll walk away from this opportunity with just in our short time together? You'll be able to understand how personality behavior styles and the differences that there are within those personality behavior styles. And you will learn how to build effective teams with that. You'll be able to identify and you will be able to walk away and understand the role of communication, leadership, conflict resolution as it relates to team building. Because when you don't connect, you're like two ships passing in the night. That's not going to work. In an ever-evolving, shifting terrain, what do we find is the one thing that's making teams stronger? The one thing that's making teams stronger is exactly what it might sound like: leadership and communication. So when I pivoted in 2020, I thought to myself, yeah, I could just keep, going on status quo, business as usual. But I found that I had such a moving heaviness about what was going on. I had never seen anything. I don't think any of us have seen anything like it. I have never seen a pandemic. I've seen people get sick and things like that. But I was like, how can I add more value? What can I do for the industry, and not just real estate, other industries as well? What can I do to let people know, number one, I care. And number two, that if you've lost hope, or if you're getting a little stretched and you're like, I really just need that one little step, just that one little nudge, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the way you're currently doing anything. Not at all. It just means that there's an opportunity for your next step. Don't miss this opportunity to learn the secrets of communication. Not only communicating, but connecting. You might be able to find out that where you've been struggling, you can now succeed where you and others have failed. If you've ever wondered why some teams are successful while other teams are not, I would submit to you the foundational principle is lack of communication. As I've been going around the state and the country talking to people about leadership, and even outside of the country, what I've learned is that communication is the bedrock of leading. First, you have to go within and understand yourself. Secondly, you have to become a better leader and lead those around you. And the way to win with others is allow them to be them. Find a way to match or at least acknowledge their communication style. The goal is not to have everybody communicate like you. It just isn't possible. So many people communicate, but few people connect. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more, this is going to be a complimentary workshop. I love to give a value add. I do it about once a quarter. And I love to give a value add where I'm able to seed into your life as a realtor, as a real estate licensee, as a pastor, as a servant in whatever industry you're serving others. I enjoy giving the opportunity for people to come together, like-minded people that want to get to their next level. So not only do you meet some pretty cool people, but you also have the opportunity that I make 2 promises every single time I train. And I always keep my 2 promises every time I train. The first thing I promise is that you will be able to walk away that very same day with at least one skill set that you didn't have before the training. So that's my first promise. My first promise is that you will be able to walk away with a concept, an action step that will actually change the way you are communicating just by being together for that workshop. And then number 2, what do I promise? The second thing I promise is that if the material that I'm sharing with you resonates with you, I will provide the next step opportunity. So that means that we can talk about how we can take a deeper dive. But in the meantime, I invite you, May 11th, 11 o'clock. That's a few short weeks away. I will post an invitation. I will post information. You may have seen my post about this a few weeks ago. However, I did want to make sure to personally invite you. Of course, you can feel free to message me, private message me, send me an email, whatever way you prefer. And I would gladly have the opportunity to set a space for you. And if there is, or if there are anyone out there that would be like, well, gosh, I don't just want this for me. I want it for my whole organization. I am open to having that conversation. My schedule for the summer is filling up, but I am open to having that conversation and would love to talk to your brokerage, your church, your association, whatever the case may be. So join me May 11th at 11 o'clock. To reach me, of course, just feel free to Facebook message me or send me an email. I appreciate you all being here. Be well, stay well. Thanks for listening. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, have a great day. Bye-bye for now. Hold your image.